Learning Google Ads is very, very difficult. And I don't say that lightly, especially with all the information that is out there online, both free and paid information. There's just so much clutter. And as someone who spent over 10 years in this industry, I'm still seeing to this day lots of so-called gurus recommending super outdated strategies and approaches to running Google Ads campaigns. And believe it or not, even ChatGPT is still recommending match types that have already been deprecated for several years, or even old ad types. So don't always believe everything that you come across, even with using AI. And in this video, I'm going to break down the best methods, both free and paid, that you can use in order to learn Google Ads, either to run it for yourself or for your own clients. I'm going to share how I have personally learned Google Ads, and I'm going to share the different methods that you can use, both free and paid methods, in order to really accelerate your learning and become the best Google Ads advertiser that you could possibly be. If you're new here, my name's Michelle. I'm the founder of Level 28 Media, and I help local service-based businesses generate leads with Google advertising. And I've been doing this for the last 5 years, but the previous 5, 6 years I was spending in corporate, learning the ins and outs and ropes of how to navigate corporate, how to run my own Google Ads, for small clients as well as large clients spending multi-million dollars every year. So I worked with clients like Toyota, AMP, Marco, Sage Accounting Software, and have learned how to master running Google Ads for these large companies as well as small budgets, as small as $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. At Level 28 Media, I manage budgets anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 up to, let's say, $30,000 a month in ad spend. It really depends. I mean, I've even managed ad spend up to 70 to 100,000 at some points, but right now my client sweet spot is anywhere from 3,000 up to 30,000. So I'm going to share with you how I've learned Google Ads, because it's taken me a long time. I mean, 10 years, I still don't feel like I've fully reached my capacity in learning everything that I possibly can. But I'm definitely learning as much as I can every day. I'm going to share the knowledge that I have with you and how I personally learned. I'm going to throw this back to 2015. So this is 10 years ago. And, you know, as you've been watching this video so far, you've probably seen a picture of me. This is a picture of me at the very first ad agency that I worked with. It's a small digital marketing agency, and 2015, that's when ombre hair was still in. So excuse the ombre. I actually think it still looks pretty cool, but I'm not, I don't have any plans on going back. But anyway, I used to work for this digital marketing agency. We had clients. Lots of them were really small clients spending $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month doing PPC, pay-per-click advertising with Google Ads. But we also did a lot of other types of advertising as well. You know, we did Facebook advertising. We did lots of other digital marketing, SEO. We also did reputation management. We built websites. It was a full service ad agency, very small company, very tight knit. And this is really where it all began. And I actually credit GMR, the company that I first started at. I actually worked here when I was in college. This was definitely the first internship that I got. Yeah, it was the first internship that I got. And since then, I worked my way from an intern to an employee. So after college, they ended up hiring me full time to work with them. And at that time, PPC was something that was still emerging. And my boss at the time, he was really trying to push us to learn PPC, because he's like, well, it's going to require a lot of analytical skills. I think that this is really good for you. And he's really trying to push PPC advertising, because that's what he saw the future of digital marketing becoming at that time, you know, with working with a lot of small businesses. So I dipped my toes into PPC, and I'll tell you, I hated it. I hated it for the first 3 months, 6 months. I think I probably got, the farthest I got was maybe like 1 year into it, and I was like, I don't like this. I actually want to change disciplines, even though even though I was doing the pay-per-click and it was something that was interesting. I didn't like the fact that I also had to manage clients. I didn't like having to deal with negative performance. And to be very honest, I didn't really have an expert to learn from. I was kind of just learning things on my own because there was no dedicated expert at this time. It was just learn as you go. We've got some clients that want to do it, so let's just learn as we go. So here's what I did to learn Google Ads. I was actually the main ads person at the agency at this time. So I'm going to talk about how I learned how to do it, and they were all the free methods. So let's just be real here. With using these methods, nothing really is free. You still need to pay with your time. So how did I learn? Really independent study. I just learned by reading different articles. At that time, there wasn't a lot of garbage online in terms of like super outdated things. So definitely learned a lot from just independent study, whether it's through blog articles like PPC Hero, Search Engine Land. There's also Google Skillshop or the Google Ads Academy. That's what it was called back then. Now it's called Google Skillshop. Still a decent resource to learn. It's a free way to learn, and that's actually the way that you can get a Google Ads certification. What I'll say about this method though is I already have a video on whether I think the Google Ads certification is worth it. Is be prepared to, when you take these Google Ads Skillshop courses, to rewire your brain after you take these courses, because a lot of the information that they're trying to push in these courses is to get you to adopt to Google's machine learning and AI. And while I don't have any big issues with that, I think the big thing that Google's trying to push is, using their machine learning and AI, and also trying to push you to spend more. But if you are not ready to spend more and you haven't fully caught up on the information in order for you to know to be successful with Google Ads, that's not what I would do in order to get success. Just because you're not getting success now doesn't mean that you necessarily need to spend more. It could just be that you need to really tighten up your targeting, or there's certain things that are wrong with your account. So I'm trying to get out with this is, with Google Skillshop, it is going to be heavily biased towards Google with the things that it's teaching you. So be mindful as you're going through this course, as you're taking the certification. Google wants you to always increase your budgets with Google, to always use maximize conversions, even when you launch campaigns for the first time without any data. So you can do it. I don't see anything wrong with learning through Google Skillshop, but definitely take it with a grain of salt because it's going to be biased. The other way that you can learn is through YouTube University, the good old YouTube.com. That's where you are watching this video right now. It's completely free to watch. There's a lot of really amazing course creators and gurus out there. I don't know if I would say amazing gurus, but there's a lot of great course creators and content creators, that are putting their information out there for free for people like you to consume. Now, with YouTube University, you still got to be careful, because everyone that is creating videos, they're not necessarily doing it because they want to do it out of the goodness of their own heart. I want to do it out of the goodness of my own heart, but I also am going to be as transparent as possible and let you know that my goal is also to generate leads for my own agency. So if you're watching this video and you might be interested in either an audit or managed services, definitely, feel free to check out the link in the description below, but no hassle or pressure in order to do that. I want you to watch as many videos as you want on my channel. And if I'm able to help you and you don't pay me a dime, I'm okay with that too, because I still want to be able to help people. But on top of that, it'd be great if I can also earn a living doing this, because this is what I do in order to really earn a living. So with a lot of these YouTube gurus, content creators, they might also have ulterior motives, whether it's, to get you to sign up for their courses. I'm not saying all of them are bad. In fact, I have a really good friend who has his own amazing course that he promotes along with his YouTube channel. So the YouTube channel is a way to get free content out there, but then the ultimate goal is to upsell into a course. With YouTube creators, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I'm not going to call anyone out that I think is, doing an awful job. I think do your own research on them. See if they come from a reputable company that has great reviews. Maybe check their LinkedIn profile, see if they've got some recommendations. Just pre-vet it out, because not every creator is created equal, and not every creator is going to have the knowledge that you need in order to take you to where you need to be. But it's great because it's free. And you also can't blame them because it's free content anyway. Another great place to learn, WordStream. In fact, WordStream, and used to partner with WordStream. I have a consultant colleague that used to work for WordStream and manage many of their clients. WordStream has a lot of great content and information around Google Ads and pay-per-click. We've actually used their platform multiple times at GMR, like white labeled it to manage our clients. And it's been a really great resource. So definitely, if you are strapped for for cash and you're looking for, free ways, look at WordStream. They've got a great blog, and they've also got really great resources to learn Google Ads. Another great way to learn is through the RPPC subreddit. Online communities are amazing because you get people giving their unfiltered opinions, and some people are going to be very brutal with you. So just be prepared. If you're asking questions and stupid questions on the RPPC subreddit, they might call you out, or they might even just remove your comment because they might just say that it's stupid. So I think RPPC or Slack RPPC are great communities to meet with other marketers, but also be mindful that these people are probably way beyond where you are, especially if you're just a beginner, that some of the information that you might be requesting might actually not be helpful to the community. In fact, it might just seem like you're looking for free information. I think if you are looking to learn our PPC, Google Ads, RPPC subreddit is a great place to lurk. You can still ask questions, but I think a lot of these basic questions are probably going to get ignored, or might even get removed by the moderators because they're really basic questions that you could just probably Google. I think that these places are great places to just lurk and read and learn based off of other people's experiences. And I'm pretty much on RPPC every day because I want to see the latest and greatest and what people are asking and what are the biggest trends right now with PPC, and stay up to date myself. I also mentioned ppchero.com, searchengineland.com. These are the top blogs that I use to keep up on all of the information regarding Google Ads, to stay up to date on everything that's going on and all the changes, because as you probably have known by now, as you're doing your research, it changes a lot. Google Ads in 2025 is not the same as it was in 2020 or even 2015. I wish it was. I wish I could go back to 2015 and tell my younger self that it's not going to get better and it's just going to get worse and more difficult and a lot harder to get better results and really enjoy the experience and the ride that I was on. Now, I want to circle back to a comment that I made earlier. When I was actually running PPC at this company, GMR, I actually hated PPC at this point because I didn't feel like I had necessarily a mentor or an expert to rely on. I had to do everything myself. I had to use all these free methods in order to really figure things out. So that's probably why I had such a negative experience with it. And then on top of that too, with clients having very negative feedback based off of the results I was getting. And I was really hard on myself. I had this one client that came in to the office one day saying that he was going to have to fire some employees because his PPC wasn't working. And that really took a toll on me because I was thinking to myself, wow, you're putting all of your eggs in the basket of letting just this entry level intern or, a fresh out of college graduate who's just barely learning PPC and learning from all these free methods at the time to learn or just to run your Google Ads account. And I really was hard on myself, but looking back now, being an agency owner, I give myself a lot of grace because I learned a lot on my own and I did the best that I could because we didn't necessarily have any experts there. And I'm not saying anything bad about this company that I used to work with. I still talk to some of these people. They are still there. It's an amazing company. But at that time, we're just kind of it was just kind of like we're in startup mode trying to figure out PPC. And because the owner was seeing things with PPC moving so quickly, he wanted to be able to offer that to his clients. And once I was able to get wins, then sell more and more and more to other companies. But I was not finding a lot of success with these different methods that I was learning and running my own PPC campaigns until I really got deep into managing my own accounts. So I tried to, learn on my own without running accounts. And then once I started running my own PPC accounts, I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. I would log in every day. I'd think, oh my God, I just spent $100, but I didn't get a lead. Okay, what did I do wrong? What do I need to evaluate? And I would go through all of these free methods in order to diagnose why we're not getting the performance that we're looking for. And that was a struggle for sure. And I want to say that the reason why I started to enjoy it was when I started to figure out how to get the results. That's when I started enjoying it. And that's when things started becoming more easy because I started getting it. When things started clicking after I was learning through all these free methods, through the Google Ads Academy, through the independent study, through WordStream. Our PPC wasn't around back then. YouTube, there weren't any real creators. So it was really mostly through blogs and WordStream and Google Ads Academy. But right here at the bottom, I have School of Hard Knocks. I'm actually going to highlight this because I think that this is going to be the most crucial way that you're going to learn how to successfully run Google Ads lead generation campaigns. The School of Hard Knocks, aka doing it on your own, failing big time and learning. There's no way that you are going to circumvent wasting a lot of money. And at this point, at that time, I know that this agency wasn't charging a ton for management fees. I was learning on my client's dime. And I know that that's not necessarily something that a client wants to hear, but I learned, even though I didn't have a direct supervisor that knew the actual information needed in order to be successful with Google Ads, I think that it was a great learning experience because I was kind of the pioneer here in figuring things out. And by learning it, doing it on my own, failing, spending lots of money, and then eventually getting results actually helped to build my confidence in Google Ads. So that's really how I learned. We didn't do any real paid methods. Actually, there was one paid method that we did use. I'm going to share in a little bit. But if you are strapped for cash, if you're just barely learning Google Ads and you don't have much to invest in it, use these free methods here. This is a great place to start. I mean, School of Hard Knocks, it's not necessarily free because you're going to need your client to supply you budget in order to run your own campaign. But these other methods is, where it's at. Here I didn't have to pay anyone necessarily anything. I just needed a client account to work on. I mean, think about it. doctors, they have to do a residency. We all need to learn somewhere, and we're all going to fail. And every time we do something for the first time, we're going to suck at it. So I was very resistant at this time. 10 years ago, not knowing much, I thought PPC was interesting, but when I was kind of doing it on my own for a little bit and failing, I was hating it so much because I was getting a lot of negative feedback. But once I started to get actual results, that's when I started actually enjoying it. And that's how I made a career out of it for myself, because after seeing the results and building that confidence, then I decided that I was going to go try to become a specialist in PPC at Saatchi and Saatchi, where I managed Toyota's Google Ads and Microsoft Ads paid search campaigns, and then eventually went on to go work for other big companies in corporate managing their Google Ads campaigns. So that's what I have for you for the free methods. What I have for you for the paid methods: courses, Udemy, Coursera, and then other independent content creators. Look for reviews and testimonials, and also see when these courses were created. If these courses were created and they haven't been updated for the past even year, I would actually steer clear from it. Because Google changes so much. If you're watching, Isaac Rondensky, I actually bought his Udemy course. It was fantastic. Chef's Kiss, I paid for that course. After I left GMR and started working for Saatchi, I wanted to make sure that I was fully buttoned up in terms of my knowledge. And I bought the Isaac Rondensky course at the time. And at that time, he didn't have a lot of students in his course on Udemy, but now it's like the #1 course. But he hasn't been updating it, so I wouldn't recommend it right now. I know that he's updated it, and he has it, but it's not on Udemy. It's through his own website now. Coursera, I've never used Coursera, but I'm just recommending you check it out, see if there's any other creators and other content creators that have YouTube channels that might also have their own courses and cohorts for you to join. Definitely look for reviews and testimonials first. Memberships, I would say memberships are probably a better fit for people who are more intermediate, that don't really need the course necessarily. Memberships typically a place where you can go with other paid members to ask questions. But they also might be part of a course, so look out for that. I'm part of a paid membership, the PPC Hub with Miles and Bob. Great community, but it's more for advanced Google Ads pay-per-click marketers. Another way that you can learn is through hiring a Google Ads coach or consultant. I offer consulting for anyone on an hourly basis that might be looking just for a fresh pair of eyes on their account. Now, I'm not pushing you to use my services, but look out for a coach or consultant. You can look on LinkedIn, you can look on Upwork. Now, mind you, the hourly rate, especially for an expert, is going to be pretty high. It can be anywhere from $50 to $300, $400 an hour. I haven't seen anything higher than that, but I'm pretty sure that there's probably some coaches and consultants that charge even more, probably in the thousands an hour. And then there's also this book by Perry Marshall. I believe it's called The Ultimate Guide to Google Ads. Back when I used to work at GMR, the very first thing that my boss gave to me was this book. I took it home one weekend, I read the whole thing, and I just dived headfirst the following week to try to figure out how to run Google Ads on my own, and with a lot of failures and learnings. That's what led me to where I'm at today. So that's pretty much it, for how I learned Google Ads. I hope that you can take these methods too and apply them to you if you are trying to figure out how to run Google Ads, whether you want to try free. I would go the free method first and then try pay methods. But be wary of the things that I share with you, of things you need to be looking out for when you are looking to, use any of these free or even paid methods. If you have any questions, comments, or any thoughts around this topic, I would love if you can give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to this channel. I'm not affiliated with any course creators to push any courses for you guys. I just wanted to share with you guys the methods that I personally use, but definitely will say that the School of Hard Knocks of actually doing is going to be much, much, much more impactful than just learning the theory. I mean, just think about it. If you are learning how to drive, you can read the DMV manual front to back 100 times and feel like you know everything that you need to know about driving a car. But then getting behind the wheel is a completely different story, and knowing how to navigate and respond to how people are driving, doing defensive driving and so forth, that's a completely different story than just being able to memorize front to back the DMV handbook manual. So yeah, if you like this video, definitely let me know. And if you have any other suggestions for videos, leave them in the comments below, and I will be more than happy to create more content. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.